Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Learn with Sawgrass Wednesday. It is the second. It is the second Wednesday of the month, so that means we're going to focus on building your business. So, as you know, we do kind of have a different focus. This month has 5 weeks. We get some bonus at the end of the month. Next week, just to go ahead and say it, we do have a special guest. My daughter, who is 16, Evelyn, will be on spring break, so she's going to join me, and we're going to make a shirt together, just to show how easy the software and the process is. So she'll be joining me next week, but we will go ahead and jump in. And so I really want to start with the business builders, focusing on how to strengthen your business if you have an existing one, and then continue to add in that kind of content around the things you need to know as you're starting to make sure that you have everything in place to have a business that works. So we're kind of working on some themes for the rest of the year. I do have a partner who's going to be helping me with some content around this, but you will see a lot more content, hopefully, around building your business. And so we're going to jump into some of that today. And we're going to talk about gaining customers and then retaining customers. So what are those ways where you find customers for your business, and then how do you kind of keep them? So I think a lot of it comes down to forming connections. So where do you go? How do you meet customers? How do you do this? I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. One of the best places you can join is your local chamber of commerce. I think that's a great way to meet other businesses and then to kind of partner together with them. And one of these partnership opportunities is going to be finding customers. So I actually got to do this weekend. I traveled to a trade show, Creativations, with NAMTA, and that was in Seattle, Washington. And so I was actually in a pavilion with several other businesses. Now, none of us, well, two of us, but most of us didn't have anything in common. But by being in a pavilion together, it allowed us to have a greater access to other groups. And because we were paired together, we weren't any individual person wasn't paying the cost of the booth. We were kind of sharing it. So I was with a company that does punny coloring books and colored pencils, and those are themed sets. So palettes depending on TV shows or other popular trends. And then I was also with a gentleman who does he sells bath bomb kits. So the kits to make your own bath bombs, the molds and all of that fun stuff. So that was great. And then we were all around my friend Sarah Hurley, who has the Sarah Hurley Academy, where she works with small businesses to help build them. And the other two businesses were actually ones that were going through the academy. And so they were kind of learning how to do a trade show. So that's one of the first suggestions I'm going to have as far as gaining customers, is getting into places where customers will be. So even if you're going to a market or going to a market or to a convention or to any of those things, it's not just about selling product. It's also about getting emails and getting those connections. So I was actually impressed. The people who were doing the colored pencils, like I said, they put them in packaging around a theme or a trend or whatever. And so they actually had a jar and they were collecting suggestions for a new set of colored pencils. And so they were like, whoever they ended up choosing, then they would get a prize. But in doing that, what do you have to get? You have to get a phone number and an email. And now you've got another person added to your mailing list. Now, mailing lists are going to be extremely important. So how do you get that contact information? How do you get people added to your mailing list so that you're sending them out information. A great way is going to be through your social media, creating some sort of newsletter. So maybe it's a monthly reminder of events that they may need gifts for. It may be just anything around that, local events that may be coming up. It may be a calendar that you send out, but getting that information. Now, of course, we don't sell colored pencils. So what are some ways that you could do the same thing? What artwork would you like to see? What color palette should I be using this spring? I have this new theme. What should the theme be called? So anything that gets people involved and get them participating is a good way to catch those emails. Now, how do you retain customers? Same thing. So first of all, making sure that you are grabbing things like those emails and then you are actually interacting. So whether it's on your social, whether it's through email, sending them out when there's a new design, sending them out when you add a new product, sending things out throughout. Now, do some people ignore your email? Yes, they do. But there are going to be people who look at them as well. So any of these little contests or anything to keep people involved, if you do have a smaller mailing list, maybe you are sending a Christmas card or even a Christmas ornament. And then if they see the ornament and they love the ornament, maybe then they want to purchase more ornaments or purchase ornaments on their own. So it's all about building this connection. It's not only about things like the Chamber of Commerce. Schools are such a huge market for sublimation. Every club, every sport, they all need merch. They all need things. They all need fundraisers. So connecting through the PTO or the PTA is another great way of getting involved in your local community. And that's that way of building those connections in that community, because that's where most of your ideas and most of your customers are going to come from. Now, Lori, I know you run a small business. What are some other things that you've learned or you've seen?
Well, when I sell something, I have like a little form that I fill out for each customer. So
Mm-hmm.
like, say my friend Chris here, she comes to me and she needs a wedding gift for
Mm-hmm.
someone. I'm gonna put in there the date that she needs the wedding, because most times you personalize it with the name and the date of the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna make note of that wedding date, and then I'm gonna ask her about 30 days before. I have a reminder set, send Chris the email and inquire if she needs anniversary gifts. If they
Yep.
buy a birthday gift, that same email goes out with a little bit of different wording, and always push the name and date. Don't give them, for Christmas ornaments, you don't give them just an ornament. No, 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 no. It has to have the year, so that they start their own trend of coming to me for
Yep.
that ornament every single year.
Yeah, so I actually was in a class this weekend, and that was what the person was saying. They were trying to make a little extra money for something, so they made ornaments for their neighborhood, but had the date on it. So then every year they can sell the ornaments again with the new image and the new date. So yeah, definitely. And it's good to remind people when the new one comes in. So collecting those emails, collecting that information. Lori, you use Excel, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you just use a simple spreadsheet
Yeah.
and that works great. You don't need to overcomplicate this. You don't need software to do it. We use Excel for just about everything. So that's a great way to collect that information.
The other thing
Okay.
I do is, I have my mini me, my eight, well, she's almost 8 year old granddaughter. So if she goes and, she's out here at the playground, she's here every weekend, and she makes friends with a little girl. And this little girl has to leave for a couple hours to go to cheerleading or to gymnastics. I might have her over for a play date where we craft, and I will make her a cheer bow, or I will make her a water bottle for gymnastics with her name on it. And, then they go home and they tell their mommy, Zelda's Nana, she made me this cool thing. And can't deny, I just put the kid's name on it here.
Yep.
And that gets the parents thinking, what else does she have?
Yep. Exactly.
Sometimes
It's,
just, I might spend $4 on a water bottle at the most,
mhm.
but how much am I going to make in return? Don't give away the farm,
Yeah.
but give a little.
Yep. Definitely. Something to kind of reel them in. I think I've said this before. In Louisiana, there's a term called lagniappe. And so lagniappe is a little something extra. So with a purchase, throwing in something that's either related or something that's a little more economical, and then that's another way to give them a piece of your brand. So you sell a shirt, or you sell a hat, or you sell a cutting board, and then you're throwing in a keychain with a cute local saying on the front, and then the back has your business logo or your email on it. So another way that they can reach out to you, and then of course making sure you're getting their information too, but just to keep them thinking of all of the options and all of the different things they can do. So that little bit of lagniappe is a little extra from you, but it is something that could bring someone in the future, which is a good idea. Now, Vicky, do you currently run a business? Do you have any ideas or anything that works for you? And Road, she may have to put it in the chat, so just let us know if she does.
I'm watching the chat. I think we're just waiting her.
Okay. And not to put Vicky on the spot, she may be just starting out. But Rhodes, have you heard any other suggestions from users or anything to help build businesses and to help build customer list?
So Miss Vicky, I see you just responded. I'm glad you're just getting started. This is definitely a good course for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think little displays are always nice to kind of accompany. We had a term called Circe. It's like an old Southern term. It's like a small gift. Kind of what you said in Louisiana, that reminds me of that term. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of anything specific. I know that some people. Let me see if I can go find something. I'm gonna see if some people have sent me stuff and see what I can find.
Yeah. Not a problem. So yeah, just any way that you can connect with the customer and then keep that connection going. Big thing is customer service, following up. Did that work for you? Um, Lori, do you ever use like discounts for frequent customers?
Yes. If they are at their 5th year, and I know it sounds like a lot, but if they are at their 5th year for their Christmas ornament, when they purchase their 5th year, they get to pick out an additional ornament. And then if it's a large order, like I have friends that I visit in Pennsylvania, they dabbled for a little while in custom motorsport, um, kind of like you take your ATV in and they pimp it out for you, so to speak.
Yeah,
So
pimp your ride.
yeah, it's kind of that type of thing. And they asked me, they had an event, they asked me to do can koozies. And that was a
Mm,
rather large order. So I calculated my cost and I believe I wound up giving them 20% off because it was kind of a huge order.
yeah,
I'm still making a lot. They're saving a little bit of money. Um, I mean, and it was they provided the artwork. I just had to slap it on some orange and green and yellow backgrounds. I mean, solid.
yeah,
I mean, how easy is a can koozie with one color background and provided artwork? So I didn't feel like I needed to kind of stand my ground on my price. It
yeah,
was too easy of a job. But big
yeah.
jobs like that, Chris gets the discount because she comes and helps me organize my office.
Nice. Yeah.
And, you know, now interestingly enough, I have tried to give certain family members a discount because they're family.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom will go and actually troll my Facebook, find out what I'm really selling it for, and write
Mm-hmm.
the check for the full amount.
That's smart.
Do you
Well,
charge more or less for family?
Less.
Oh,
But my
and
mom refuses to take the discount roads. She will find she will stoop to no any length to find out if I lied to her about the price. Like for example, the wine and cheese sets that come with the glass cutting board and all the little accessories.
mm-hmm.
I sell those for $65. I charged my mom 50 and the check came at $65 along with a phone call because I had my oldest son drop it off. Then I got the phone call and said she saw on my Facebook where I quoted a price and that's the price she was paying.
No.
So
Well, that's nice.
apparently I'm getting my inheritance $15 at a time, I guess.
There you go. There you go. So, Rhodes, did you find any suggestions or anything else that you wanted to add?
bulk pricing has been popular in the past, especially because you talked about schools earlier. I've
Yep.
talked to a lot of people through, school organizations like a chorus group, sports team, anything of that nature. When they're in contact with the school, offering, a preferred bulk rate because they are doing 20, 30 plus shirts,
Yep.
um, or just a friends and family rate too. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not everyone's mom is stubborn and going through the Facebook page, but if you are comfortable with, a PTA association, if you want to provide a little bit of a cut rate for people you're
Mm.
aligned with value wise and working with, I think that's a
Yeah.
nice touch as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, it's basically a small donation. And then by doing that, it allows them, if they're selling them, to upsell. And then that builds that loyalty, really. I mean, it's another great way to build a loyal customer is, giving them that little bit of a discount. So if they're reselling, then they can add a little bit more and then they can get a little bit of profit too. Awesome. Well, I know this was a short session today. We will be longer next week because, like I said, we will have a special guest. We are moving next week into our VersaFlex lessons. So we will be talking about our new solution with the VersaFlex. We'll be using that for the next 3 weeks and then probably past that too. So thank you all for joining today. I know it was a little bit of a shorter lesson, but we will get onto a system again and get the schedule up so that everyone can join us. And so with that, we will go ahead and end.
Thank you, Miss Vicky.
Thank you all, and you have a great day.